So today we're going to do another French whenever, and we're not going to let them lock things up. And what they want to do is they want to create a completely closed pawn structure, maybe even play essentially a rook down without castling and a whole lot of stuff like that. So we're going to show you how we go after the h7 pawn on a 2200 plus rated blitz player, and how this works and why it works and how even higher rated players fall into this and why you should look for it. So without further ado, we'll look at our analysis. Our engine's on, and here is the whenever. And the key move here is, like, interesting, the computer likes both queen to g4, knight to f3, bishop to d2. Bishop to d2 is a passive move, and it has some tactical ideas behind it that involve opening the position up as opposed to allowing it to be completely locked. Now it's suggesting both knight to b5 and a3 with an equal game. I play pawn takes pawn, which gives black the advantage, but it isn't much of an advantage. It's still basically an equal game. So this gives black a chance to get out of the book and go astray. For instance, queen to c7. Queen to c7 is not the best move, and neither is f4. Just knight to f3 would have been better according to the computer, but the fact is that I really like protecting that pawn on e5 with another pawn in this kind of formation, and the reason is that it's very easily challenged. You know, the d6 square, if he takes back the bishop, you know, on b4 can take the pawn on c5, covering the d6 square. My plan is to go knight to b5 to d6. And then, you know, if I have an additional pawn there, it can't really be undermined with f6 as easily. It still can, but fact is I do like that move, and it does still give me equality. So now basically he castles, and depending on what I do, knight to b5 was recommended. Again, that's a bit of an error. Computer saying bishop to d7. Knight to a6. Now it says knight to b5 again, seizing control of that square. And instead I push. So I push, and he's pretty much forced to take my bishop now. Although, you know, I would just play bishop takes pawn. The computer doesn't like that. There's probably something horribly wrong with it, like knight to b5. But he takes. I take back. Now it's just knight to c5. Complete equality here. And now here's the risky move. The risky move is this. As you'll see, the computer analysis is bishop to d3 followed by knight takes d3 checks, an equal game. Bishop to e2 is no doubt the right move because we have two bishops. We want to keep two bishops, and the white squared bishop is by far the best attacking piece on the board here. I give it up. So it says virtually he absolutely has to play knight takes d3 check, or should at least, and he does not. So he moves there, and look what follows. So I'll be ashamed of myself if I don't make this move. The computer says bishop takes h7 check, does not give a winning advantage, but gives us up one at least. So I do make that move. And just recall that this is a highly rated player, and I don't know why they allow these things to happen, but they do frequently. And maybe they think that because they're rating, nobody's going to do this against them. But I have a pretty high rating too, so I'm not really sure what they think. So this is, you know, a dead serious loss looking at them in the face if they make the wrong moves. And king to h8 avoids the whole knight to g5 scenario, but as you see, I play it anyway. So notice the computer didn't think that was the best move. The computer actually wanted me to retreat my bishop back to d3 and just keep my pawn. Now it says g6 is the follow-up. Now, the computer's not always correct. You know, it takes the computer a little time to catch up sometimes. So now he's following the computer line. Now I think that black's lost at this point. So regardless of what the computer says, we'll see. We'll let the computer run a little more. We're not over 2. I think once we're up 2, it's a win. So it's backing back down. It's found a better line for black. Okay, so h4 is the obvious move, and now he's got to do something to get some sort of counterplay here. My king is sitting in the middle, and I would think it's very tempting to hop his knight around. That's what the computer's begging him to do. And he doesn't do it. He moves his king, which is a very tempting move. You know, I probably would have done that myself. So it looks like it just gets the king off the file and prevents a lot of trouble. So it also threatens to move the rook over to h8, but we just push. So now as you can see, the game is pretty much shot. He's down 3. He's going to move his rook over, and we're just going to protect the bishop and fracture his pawn structure. He takes back. And now the question is how to follow up. Computer wants queen to f3. Now these are difficult attacking situations because you can lose your advantage in a big hurry and the game if you don't really get precise about this. And what is it we need to be thinking about doing in this position? Where are the giant holes in that position? Well, obviously g6 is like hideously. See, now I move queen to g4. Now the computer's decided that's even better. So, the idea of getting the queen up is basically to get to the h-file. If we're shielding the h-file with our bishop, if we can get our queen to h6, we're going to have a quick victory here. He has the ability to move knight to g8 to stop that sort of thing. And then we have all these reinforced places to go. The reason I like queen to g4 is because I can move my queen to h4, where it can, of course, it looks like it can simply be attacked by knight to f5, but I can also move it to h3 and play g4. So now he's moving rook down. Now he's down even further. Now it says just quietly castling long is the best move. I move my queen back to h3. Now he can take advantage of the fact that my bishop is pinned because my queen's on the h-file by protecting with knight to g8, but notice he's still way down. So he moves the very tempting move, knight to f5, and just runs straight into g4. So this game is pretty much over. And now the question is, how do we do this? And it says g takes f5 is maiden 6. So the earlier it appeared to have found a maiden 5, so maybe it is a maiden 5. I made the right move. And he took back with a knight. We checked, which is correct. King to f7. Uh-oh. That's not quite as precise, huh? And as you see, he resigns because we're just going to take his rook on f6. So this was basically a Greek gift sacrifice against a strong player in the Winiver, where he was expecting a positionally locked up game and got the complete opposite. And that's the moral of the story today.